Another potential settlement might have just been found here on North Sentinel Island, and this is what I'm talking about right here. When you filter it to 2023, it looks like there's some sort of structure here, along with a dirt path that leads out, and that follows the main trail that I covered in another one of my videos. It is possible that this trail could lead to some sort of development here in the northwestern part of the island. If you follow the path the other way, it hooks off to the left potentially because of the lighter coloring here. Looks like it could snake over this way and eventually lead over to the MV Primrose. So as we start to go back in years past to 2022, you can see that there was plenty of tree coverage and there was obviously nothing there. And once you go back to 2023, you can see that there is something here and some things have changed even just slightly. This main tree has completely changed colors and seemingly changed shapes into whatever this is. But if we look at the other things, like whatever this is, maybe it's some sort of shrub, there's something in the same spot. So it's possible that this right here at least has remained the same. So keep your eye right here. If I go back to the previous years, back in 2019, nothing is there. If I go to 2020, same story. 2021, it's all about the same for the past 3 years. And then I go to 2022, pretty much the same. And then 23. It looks a lot different. I also don't want to say that this is definitive proof that this is some sort of structure on the island. I'm just looking around on Google Maps, observing it, and letting you guys know what I think. Do I think it could be some sort of structure? I mean, yeah, in my opinion, it would make total sense. If you have this major walkway that could go from a potential camp down here, and it leads up, snakes up through here, wouldn't it make sense that they would have, I don't know, maybe a building of some sort along the way, or some sort of place where they can put their canoes? I don't know, maybe that's a canoe, maybe it's not. But if it was a canoe, then I don't think it's an impossible idea for them to hop in the water and head over to the Primrose. And the reason I think they could go over to the Primrose is to hunt and fish. It's not impossible to think that this would become some sort of artificial coral reef at some point, or even now, because it's been there for about 45 years at this point. I don't think it's a crazy idea that the MV Primrose could be used as an artificial reef, considering the fact that it was beached along the shore because of the coral reefs that are outside of the island. It was originally caught in a storm in 1981 and would eventually wash up on shore, and we pretty much know the story, but I'm going to make a separate video on that. Again, I'm not saying any of this is happening, but what I am saying is that it would make sense if they had some sort of structure along the way from their main base on the way out to the MV Primrose. But at the same time, to play devil's advocate, why would they have a structure out in the middle of the open? There's been footage online showing them with their little thatched roofs in the video with Tien Pandit when they actually visited the island. There is recorded footage and I'm showing it right now. This is what it looked like. I am just observing this and saying, hey, in 2022, there was nothing there as far as a structure that looked like this, and it looks like a lot of the land is much more cleared out. Here I am on the eastern part of the island for potential clearing number 2. And what brings us over here is someone from my live stream actually let me know to check out these coordinates. And as you go to 2022, looks pretty much the same, much more low res. But when you get to 2021, you see whatever this is. It's some sort of square shape. I don't really know what it is. 2020, there's nothing there. And then 2019, blurry smudge, you can't really tell. So once you go from 2023, you can see what looks like possible pathways or something over here. You go to 22, a little bit more of the same. But when you get to 21, you see whatever this thing is. If you go back to 2019, it's there as well, but then skips a year in 2020. It's really hard to make out what this could be considering the quality is just so bad. But even when you go up to the most recent year, nothing is there. And then you go back to the year that it was, and I'm not too sure what to think about that. It looks like it has height to it because it could cast a shadow right there, but I'm just not sure. It does look like it could be some sort of walkway, but I always want to be mindful that this could just be water runoff. If this is a much higher elevation, you know, things are just falling down. It's not an actual path. But if you go down just a little bit to this off section, a little bit more of the same. Can't tell if that's an actual path with more paths coming down or if it's just the way that it is. I can't imagine that people would be down here too often, but who am I to say? Maybe they take their canoes down here and this is where they like to go fishing. Because if I remember right, the eastern coast of North Sentinel is where the fishing is at. Again, the island has tons of coral reefs off of the shore, so it's not impossible to think that they like to fish off the reefs. I also want to remind everybody that 2023 is the most recent year that I can actually choose for Google Earth. It says I can go back to 1985, but that's actually not the case. When I do that, that's what you see. 2011 is actually the first year you really get an idea of what you're looking at here on North Sentinel. But as we progress up, 2023 is much better. I forgot to put this in the video, but I actually just made an official Discord for the Untamed History YouTube channel and TikTok, link in the description. So that's what I had for you guys today. Both of the followers actually suggested this on my live stream. So if you want to check it out, go over to TikTok, and I'm also going to make a Twitch here soon. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. I read all of them and I respond to as many as I can. Thanks as always, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.